Traditional rulers in Delta State have called on the federal government to urgently fix the deteriorating federal roads, describing them as hazardous for motorists. In a communique that was issued after a meeting in Asaba, the Delta State Traditional Rulers Council, led by the first vice chairman, Pereluk Kalanama Ville, expressed concern over roads such as Wari, Sapele Benin, Abo Abraka Oku, and the East West Road. The Monarchs also urged the state governments to repair state roads, warned residents of flood-prone areas to relocate, and called for improved security after a recent incident in Agao. Additionally, they emphasized the need for intensified anti-drug efforts by NDLEA and encouraged youth participation in military recruitment exercises. They have mentioned a lot of things. Let's see how we can address these things one after the other. Let's start from what they mentioned about the roads now. Starting with the federal roads. They called on the federal government to come repair federal roads. Recently, we heard reports from Delta State where the Delta State government, like I said for the break, complained about the federal government not allowing them repair federal roads, and with the excuse that those roads have already been contracted. But now they have the issue of the contractors probably not doing their jobs. And they are the residents of these areas. They are the ones suffering the effect of the bad roads. And yet they're not allowed to repair the roads. I'd like to get your thoughts on this one.
It's sad again. It's sad again to see we have to deal with these issues almost on a daily basis. You know, when it comes to road construction and repair, it saddens me personally because I lost a friend of mine to bad road. I had this friend of mine who got involved in an accident in the Kekena Pep. A trailer fell on the Kekena Pep and her two legs were cut off and she couldn't survive it. Her son, who was also in the Kekena Pep with her, she managed to push him out of the Kekena Pep and he fell, but one leg was amputated. So the young man is living with 1.5 legs. So road construction issues are so painful to me when I hear them. It's so sad. It's so sad because, you know, why I say it's so sad is that I'm happy that Monarchs are the one making this call. No politician ever campaigns in any area without visiting the Monarchs. These same politicians come to you every year. The APC, look, the APC structure has been there for years. It's not a new structure, whether the presidential candidate changed or not. The PDP structure has been there for years. It's not a new structure. If you go to politicians, they'll tell you their history. They said I've been here for 28 years. Somebody has been in power for 32 years. Somebody has been in power since inception of democracy till now. So you realize that these structures have been in place. They go to Monarchs when they want to go get traditional spiritual blessings, and these Monarchs are going to bless them as a way of being apolitical or non-partisan. So they receive both the APC and the PDP. If the Monarchs understand that these same games have been going on for these number of years, then why do you still open your doors to them and come back crying? Because they do not come to you empty-handed. They come to you bearing gifts. You can't come to a king empty-handed. You come to a king, you appeal to him, you praise him, you eulogize him, and you get his ego high, and then he begins to bless you. So the Monarchs are the same people that entertain the politicians. And at the end of the day, we are the same people crying about this thing. If the next time they come to your palace, you close your doors to them, tell them you are the same old people that have always, if you want to get things right this time, go and do the right things before we open our doors to you. Then we'll know that people are becoming serious. You know, it's just like when you join people to go and steal at night. And then when you are done stealing, you come in the morning to come and talk up against stealing. They just look, they sit somewhere and they are laughing at you because they know that tonight we'll still meet again. So it's like, now it's the same people talking at the end of the day. Because if you are ready to make things right, then you must make bold statements. And bold statements come with you denouncing or disagreeing totally with the norm.
Well, you know that when these candidates go to meet these Monarchs, they go with promises. they always come with promises.
Yeah.
Especially beautiful manifestos.
And the promises are not new.
Amazing manifestos. So it's not like they're coming to meet these monarchs and they're agreeing that they're not going to do anything. They make promises and tell them, oh, we're going to do this for you, we're going to do that for you. So how do you still blame the monarchs here?
The promises are not new. That's why I said these promises are not new. If you go through the history of Nigerian politics, the East-West Road has been on the manifesto of every president. Every president has campaigned with the East-West Road. That's even the Delta region. The region that spans through River State. That spans through River State, cutting through the Ogoni region down to the Akwa Ibom Uyo Road. It's still in a very deplorable state. It is always in the campaign promise of every politician. So at the end of the day, these are not new promises.
So how do you know who will do it? How do you know who will end up not doing it?
Them. You see, when bold statements are made, they may not yield results immediately, but they send a message. A bold statement is, the news headline will carry it. Presidential candidates of so and so got to the palace of the revered monarch and met closed doors. The news headline will fly.
Emphasis on closed doors.
The news headline will fly. The next day they go to see the next monarch, they meet closed doors. It may be only two strong monarchs that may do that at the end of the day. They may meet other smaller monarchs for the love of money and greed. But at the end of the day, they sent a message. They sent a message. When you make bold statements, don't forget, they may never yield results immediately, but they send a deep message. When the deep message comes, if, for instance, the strong monarchs in the Delta region had stopped politicians during the campaign promise time, now when this news came up, they'll link it.
But you know, great man, not to say that the monarchs do not have a role to play in all of this,
okay.
Not to say that. But then, even as Nigerians, a lot of times during elections, you see that we are optimistic, especially when some more Nigerians are supporting a particular candidate. You see how optimistic these people are. They believe that this person is going to come in and bring the change that we want and all of that, especially during the change era, you know. But then, how do these people know that this person is not going to do all of the things that he has said he will do? It's more, don't you think it's more like saying the monarch should not support any political party during elections? Or saying that the monarchs should not... maybe you should
obviously, monarchs are expected to be non-partisan. They're not supposed to be card-carrying members of any party.
That's why they accept and receive everybody.
Definitely, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that if the monarchs refuse to accept anybody at all, not receiving one party and rejecting the next party. If the monarchs say, no, we're not accepting politicians, sit down and do the right thing. Don't come to our palace. Because let me tell you something about monarchs, about monarchy. When the monarch receives a political party, it comes like an endorsement. The people say the monarch received him. You know, there are people, let me tell you how falsehood thrives. Falsehood likes to associate itself with reality, with truth, so that it looks endorsed. That's what many people do. They know they are false. They look for true people. Even in Christian faith, a lot of people do that. They are false. They look for Christian fathers to kind of endorse them. And you as the followers out there, because of the influence they have, we just say, I saw him on a poster with Papa, with this. And you're like, for him to snap with Papa, in fact, he's a good man. That's how the normal Nigerian brain works. But
let's even go to the monarchs now. How much are they even doing in themselves? How much are they really doing for their own community?
Monarchy has become so traditional in Nigeria now. Sorry to say, but that is the reality of truth. Monarchy has become so traditional now. So traditional. They now begin to dance. In those days, when people talk about monarchs, in the days of my fathers and my grandfather, you fear monarchs. You fear, they had, it's just like pastors. You fear them. They have a level of power concentrated in their hands. And then when you hear that a monarch came out, monarchs don't even come out normally before. They don't come out anyhow. You don't see a monarch anyhow. You don't just walk into a monarch and say, Igwe, I was passing back at the back. I said, let me just come and say hello to Igwe. These days, monarchs are even the ones begging politicians to come. Now you hear about first-class tools that are politicized. You even hear about first-class tools in this country. Look at the fights with the Kano emir. You know who the right person is. A politician is foiling another candidate against the right person. So monarchy has become so politicized that it's almost losing its relevance. But thank God for the monarchs who are still maintaining and preserving their integrity.
Even when we say that the monarchs should stand up for this and that, they also need to get to look at their own actions and the things that they're expected to do in their own communities.